All right, for this second video, I'm just going to go over, what it was like when I got home. So again, I had an hour drive to get home, and I was fully awake by the time I got home. So again, from waking up from the anesthesia, it seemed like I was really, I wouldn't say drowsy. It was more of I was not alert, and so by the time I got home, I was fine. Now, one thing is when they put you out, they then put a breathing tube, down your throat or whatever they do. And I have no knowledge of that going in or being taken out, other than I can still feel it. I still have a itchy throat, and dry, very scratchy. And I've heard that that's totally normal, but my point in bringing this up is that I would really recommend having popsicles, ice cream, smoothies, icy, whatever it is, cold drinks like cold water. It didn't do it, but I happen to have some popsicles, and that felt great. So I would recommend you have some popsicles, because you will have a breathing tube, and it'll be a little scratchy, at least, for the day, after. Also, my lip, the inside of my lip, I don't know how they had the breathing. I don't know how that works, but it's sensitive. Like my tooth must have been rubbing on my lip right there, the inside of my lip. So it feels a little puffy. Something here. This is swollen here. I don't know why. It's not on the other side, only on this side. So I don't know if that has to do with I was laying a certain way, or I don't know, but that's just something else I've noticed. Let's see. Sorry, I've got my notes here. I don't have my glasses, so I can't see. I gotta try to figure out what I'm doing here. Let's see. Oh, getting in and out of the car wasn't a problem. What my main back problems was, about 20 years ago, I had thrown it out for the first time playing basketball. And if you know what that's like to have your back out of alignment, it's very, very much nerve pain. Getting in and out of cars is really hard. Twisting is very painful. And I didn't experience any of that getting in and out of the car. So that was good. Now, also important to note, in my last video, I talked a little bit about the herniation, L4, L5 on the left side. It was pressing on the nerve in a way where my left leg, I would have really bad sciatica, to the point where it was hard to stand or even walk. And that was relatively new. I've only been experiencing that maybe the last year or so. Prior to that, it was always just isolated to back pain. And I never bent over, always had slip-on shoes, and, just try to be very careful. So I would say this recovery, it's very much, I'm walking and moving very similar to when my back is out. I am just being very, very cautious and very careful. Okay, let's see. Able to walk fine, and I'll demonstrate that in a minute. I just taking it slow, especially going up the stairs. I can walk without hesitation going up and down the stairs, but I'm really being careful, 1 foot at a time, or I should say 1 step at a time. So I 1 step up, and then rather than going to the next step with my other foot, I just go to that 1 step, and then take the next step. Once I got home, the anesthesiologist told me not to take the pain meds, the Oxy, for 24 hours. But he did say the muscle relaxers and the Tylenol, I could take that. So I take 2 of each, right when I got home, and then space it out 6 hours apart. And pain level, I would say at that point, getting home was, maybe a 2. It was more pressure than anything else. I have a recliner, which again, I'll show you here in a minute. That was my one purchase as preparation for this. It's one of those old people recliner that helps you stand. It lifts you up. So it has heat, massage, and the lift feature. It doesn't have USBs and a cup holders. Those would be nice, but I just got this little cheap table on the side that would, allow me to put drinks and remotes and stuff like that. So anyway, I really like the chair. The doctor also said make sure you use a pillow. So when I show you the chair in a minute, you'll see the pillow. The chair was very inexpensive for these types of recliners. I think I paid a total of $323. That was through Amazon. Came in 2 boxes, 2 different days. So I thought they only, gave me the half the shipment, but that's another story. Anyway, it was super easy to put together. It was just 2 pieces, and then you had some brackets for the legs that you had to put on. I think the whole thing probably took less than 10 minutes to fully assemble and then plug in. It takes 2 plugs. But that, if I were to, and I won't share the link because my father-in-law, he as soon as he saw it, he wanted one, and it was showing as like sold out. So it was regularly like $3.99, and then they had a $100 off coupon, and I just happened to find it and bought it. So again, it was like $323 with tax, but there's plenty of them out there around the same price range, and I like it. And I'll show you, I'll actually go through the process of letting it, I guess, go down and then recline. It's slow, so I don't know if a more expensive chair will be faster, but that's the one thing that I would really recommend to people to have is that recliner. And the reason I got it is because I didn't know if I was going to be able to go up the stairs, and our bedrooms are all upstairs in our house. So, okay. I went off on a tangent there. Sorry about that. Walking. I heard several people in videos talking about how they, got home and immediately went for like 2-mile walks and stuff. Doctor recommended on the pre-op that I absolutely walk. She recommended 3 times per day, following the surgery, the same day. But she was specific, no more than 10 minutes and on flat ground. My neighborhood is all hills. And so I'm not doing that. I'm just walking around the house. Again, climbing stairs is fine. I do have a cane. I have a cane, again, a really cheap one from Amazon. I think it was like $9. I bought that with when I was experiencing sciatica because I was having trouble getting out of bed and balancing. So that has been the other thing that is really good. My lower restroom in our house has a bidet. This goes back to the COVID days when COVID first started and there was no toilet paper. I had gotten fearful and we were trying to preserve toilet paper. So I got this cheap bidet off Amazon. I think it was like $19. Anyway, for me, I'm only bringing that up because I really recommend a bidet for when you use the restroom, because even though I feel like I can twist, I don't know, just the whole twist and reach behind, that may be a little painful. So I'm glad that I have this bidet. And again, it was super cheap, and I've had it since like 2019. So and it's been great. So again, sorry, I know that's too much information there, but it's really good. Let's see. So once I got home, I basically got in the chair. I would say that it was a little bit of time to get comfortable. Once initially I didn't have the pillow that I said you're supposed to sit with a pillow. And my wife immediately, put that behind me, and I would say that got a little more comfortable. I had to find the reclining position that was comfortable. So again, I wouldn't have been comfortable on a couch, I can tell you that. But that's where I spent most of the day. Once I was in the chair, had the massage, the heat going on, I would say pain level was under a 1. I really didn't know that you couldn't really describe any pain other than what my normal back pain is. So I wasn't really experiencing pain, which is great, Getting up is where you would feel it a little bit, but it was more of a tightness or a pressure. I can't differentiate between the types of wounds. I think the incision It's probably about 1.5 inches is what they said. I can't say that I really feel that. When I do push myself back every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I think that's the incision. I don't know if they stitched it or glued it. And all I know is I don't have a tube. They said I might have a drain tube. No drain tube. Let's see what else. As far as any pain relief right off the bat, I would say yes. One of the things that I've never heard anybody mention, and again, it might be too much information, but that's the whole point of this, is to put it out there, is not only did I experience sciatica, but my left testicle, I would feel a dull pain, and it felt nerve related. It was always related with sciatica. So the leg pain at this point is gone. No pain in the testicle at all, which is great news, because you're always worried, is it something else or whatever? But I always felt like it was nerve pain. So again, that's why I bring it up. As far as the back pain, it's hard to explain the pain, the 1 to 2 level pain that I feel. It's definitely related to the surgery. So it's impossible for me to say, do I feel better or worse in that area? I would say it's not sharp, which is nice, but it's there, and I know it's due to the surgery. So the only way I can really answer that is hopefully as I heal in the coming days, weeks, months, that I'll be fully better. Didn't have much of an appetite last night when I got home. I did eat, but it was light, and it was later. I experienced no nausea at all. The only time I felt any type of weird at all was with that antibiotic that I had prior to the surgery, and that was an IV. Headaches, no. I heard a lot of people talking about headaches. No headaches. So I guess I got lucky into that. After family ate dinner, I did go upstairs. Again, no problem walking the stairs. And I did sit in bed again, no problem with that. Is again, if you have back pain, like when your back is out, then I'm not going to go through it, but you'll know how to sit down and how to, kind of move your legs and body at the same time to where you're not causing any tension. So I had no problem. I did have a pillow, one of those, I don't know, it's like a pillow with the little legs out of it. And then I put my bed pillow up against that. And I was sitting upright. And again, initially, I wasn't very comfortable. I had to move it around to where I could get comfortable. And once I was comfortable, it was good. Let's see, what else? Can't take a shower for 7 days. Initially, in the pre-op, they told me 4 days. Both anesthesiologist and the doctor, the surgeon, told me 7 days. So I have baby wipes. Baby wipes is a good option. They also said you can absolutely sponge bath. You can get in the shower, like if your shower is big enough to where you can turn on the water, wet a sponge and go over your body without being under the water. They don't mind you doing that. I would say that I laid down to go to sleep it was probably 10:30 or 11 at night, and I didn't have any problem going to sleep. The pain wasn't bad at all. One of the questions I have, and again, that's why I'm making this video. A lot of people talked about tossing and turning or twisting and no bending and all this. So I was the one thing during pre-op that I was very concerned about. I said, look, I toss and turn. I sleep on my back, but then sometimes when I wake up and I'm on my side, and my knees won't be together. Like I'll extend one leg, my upper leg will be extended out, and I was concerned that that's going to qualify as twisting and not good. The doctor said absolutely no problem with that at all, because when you're laying down, they're not worried about it. One thing I would say is that I can't sleep with like a pillow or anything under my knees or my legs, and they want you to do that to keep the pressure off of it. So what I ended up doing is just kind of I guess touch my feet together and kind of bring them in, and that relieves the pressure. And you'll know it. You just have to get your legs comfortable. I ended up sleeping on the side most of the night. And I was most comfortable with that. No problem with that. Same with getting up, you know, whether you're laying on your back or on your side, you want to be on your side, and then you just push up. And then I have my cane that I help to, you know, I use one hand on the nightstand, one hand on the cane, and I lift myself up, and I was fine. Oh, sorry. Okay, what else? I think that's about it. I'll end this video here. I am not trying to be a YouTuber. I'm trying to help people. So if you have questions, you know, please ask, and I'll do my best to respond.